Welcome all to the Costing Jan 2025 paper discussion, the detailed solution starting with the MCQs. Let's start. Hope the paper was good. The data pertaining to worker C in a factory depicts that he is paid at the rate of rupees 100 per hour. Okay. The week comprises of 48 hours for 6-day work. The allowed absence time is 15 minutes per day for maintenance. So that's a normal idle time. The job card indicates that his chargeable time for two jobs are J1 21 hours and J2 24 hours. Any unaccounted time is attributable to power failure, means it becomes a case of abnormal idle time. What are we supposed to find out? The cost of a normal idle time and the abnormal cost, not the rate. The cost of normal idle time and abnormal, not the rate. Students get confused somewhere. Clear? So what is the cost? For that I should know what is my normal idle time. The normal idle time is 15 minutes per day into 6 days. So obviously that will come to 1.5 hours. And abnormal idle time, if you want to find out, totally they are working for 48 hours minus, they are saying anything unaccounted is abnormal, that is due to power failure. So 48 they have used 21 for J1, 24 for J2 and 1.5 hour goes into the normal idle time. So the balance left will be 1.5 hours. So 1.5 hours is normal idle time and 1.5 hour is abnormal idle time. And what is the rate? The rate is 100 rupees per hour. That's the rate we are paying him. So obviously the charge for normal idle time will be 1.5 hour into 100 rupees. That comes to 150 rupees. Same as for abnormal, it is 1.5 hour into 100 rupees. That comes to rupees 150. So I hope now the option is clear. That is option number B. Moving on to the next one. If you see here, the next question, they are saying AB Limited has furnished the following data. What is the data given here? Budgeted actuals, the output is given. Budgeted output 40,000, actual output 48. The budgeted fixed overheads is 78,000 and the actual fixed overheads is 84,000. What are we interested in? The fixed overhead volume variance, that is the difference between the budgeted output, which is 40,000 minus the actual output, which is 48,000. So minus 48,000, the difference into whatever is the estimated absorption rate per unit. How do I get the estimated absorption rate per unit? That is my budgeted fixed overheads 78,000 divided by the budgeted output 40,000. If you do 78,000 divided by 40,000, that comes to 1.95 rupees per hour. So 1.95 rupees per unit is the rate. So 8,000 into 1.95 comes to 15,600. Favorable. Why favorable? Because the actual output is more than the budgeted. So the correct option should be option number A, 15,600 favorable. Let's move on to the next one. Two products X and Y are obtained in a crude form and require further processing at a cost of 6 rupees for Y and 5 rupees for Z. This is a further processing cost before the product can be actually sold in the market. The final prices for Y and Z are 15 and 8.75 per liter. Means after processing it, you can sell it in the market. The company earns a net margin of 25% on cost. Output is 8,000 of Y and Z ke liye 6,000 liter, that is the output. And what they have asked, a joint cost of 60,000 was incurred during the year. The company apportions the joint cost on the basis of NRV after processing. That's a key point. NRV after processing. Normally the questions you do are NRV at the split off point. Now they are saying NRV at the after processing. If you see NRV at after processing, that technically means the final price of Y and Z after the processing. But if you do that way, the answer doesn't match with any of the options. So I think they are meaning indirectly they are saying it should be NRV at the split off point, then you will be able to match one of the options. How do I get the NRV at the split off point? Our new normal ways. So you find out the sales at the end point. So 8,000 into 15 rupees, that is 1,20,000 for Y, and for Z it will be 6,000 into 8.75. So 6,000 into 8.75, that is 52,500. From this you remove the profit margin, that is 25% on cost. So 1/4 on cost is 1/5 on selling price. So 1/5 of 1,20,000 should come to 24,000, and 52,500 1/5 should be 10,500. Then the further processing cost at the rate of 6 rupees and 5 rupees for 8,000 liters and 6,000 liters. So 48,000, and 5 rupees means 30,000. So now you'll get the NRV at the split off point. So if you see the NRV at split off point, that comes to 48,000 and 12,000. And if you see the total is 60,000, which is same as the joint cost. Means logically, how much joint cost will go to Y? The joint cost that will go to Y will be 48,000. So divide by 8,000 liters. So that comes to rupees 6 per liter. That is a joint cost that is apportioned to Y. That is your option number D. Let's move on to the next one. Question number 4. During a certain period, 4,000 labor hours were used and the standard hours used. So this is your actual hours, and standard hours for actual production is 5,500. So this is standard hours for actual output. The variable overhead efficiency variance is 15,000 favorable. You are supposed to find out the standard variable overhead rate per hour. So how do you find out the variable overhead efficiency variance? So that you take the standard hours for actual output, which is 5,500, minus the actual hours, that is 4,000, into the standard rate, and here the variance is given as 15,000 favorable. So if you 15,000 favorable, which is equal to 5,500 minus 4,000 into the standard rate. If you do the calculation, that should come to rupees 10 per hour. That should be your option number C. Straightforward question. Let's move on to the next one. The company is analyzing the inventory management practices and has determined the EOQ as 400. The cost of placing the single order, that is ordering cost, is 25 per order, and total demand for the year, this is annual requirement 8,000. You're supposed to find out the carrying cost per unit. So that is missing. So straightforward EOQ question, root of 2 into annual requirement into ordering cost upon carrying cost. So 400 is equal to root of 2 into 8,000 into 25 upon the carrying cost. If you do the calculation, that will come to 16,000 into 25 divided by 1,60,000. Yeah, 2.5 is the per unit cost. Clear? That's option number D. Next, ABC produces 3 products, A, X, Y, Z. Similar type of material is used in production of all 3 products. Company is using traditional method, using direct labor hours to allocate the overheads. Means for traditional method, they are using direct labor hours. The cost accountant has suggested to consider ABC, that is activity based costing. Following information is available in the records of the company. This is the output of X, Y, Z, direct material per unit, labor hours per unit. So we have done the calculation. For X it should be 1600 hours, that is 16,000 into 0.1, 17,000 into 0.15, 15,000 into 0.2, the total comes to 7150. Then machine hours per unit is 0.5, 0.7 and 0.9. This again we have done the multiplication of 16,000 into 0.5, 17 into 0.7, 15,000 into 0.9. So total comes to 33,400. This will help you further. and total production runs is 175, 50 plus 65 plus 60, purchase order 5 plus 10 plus 15, 30, number of orders shipped 25 plus 35 plus 32, that is 92. So if you see the machine setup cost is 49,000, cost driver is production run, and we have taken here 175, so we are divided, we got the per run is 280 rupees. Machine running cost is 64,128 based on machine hours. We have done the total 33,400, that is 1.92 if you divide 68,128 divided by 33,400. The next is purchase cost 52,050 based on purchase order. Total are 30 orders. So 52,050 divided by 30, 1735. And delivery cost is 46,460 based on order shipped, 92 order shipped. So per order comes to 46,460 divided by 92,505. Now it should be faster to answer. The price of raw material is 2 per kg, labor is per hour is 20. Under the ABC costing system, what is the cost driver for machine setup cost? If you see here, machine setup cost, the cost comes to 280 rupees. That is a cost per driver. So that is your option number A. Next, under ABC activity based cost system, the amount of allocated overheads attributable to machine running hours of product X. So overheads related to machine running hours. Which is the overhead which is related to machine running hours? If you see machine running hours, the overheads are machine running cost, that is related to machine running hours. What is the rate? 1.92 per machine hour. And how much is the machine hour for your product number X? So machine hours for product number X is 8,000. So 8,000 into 1.92. So 8,000 hours into 1.92 is the rate. So 8,000 into 1.92 comes to 15,360. Done the calculation so that it is easy and faster, so we don't waste time there. Then the next is total cost of product Z as per ABC. Total cost. So this will include the raw material cost. So raw material cost, if you see here, we are of product Z. So if you see raw material cost, how I would have done it? The raw material cost will be 15,000 units are there. 5 kg is the requirement per unit into the rate is 2 rupees. So I have done 15,000 into 5 rupees into 2, that is 1,50,000. Labor 15,000. 0.2 is the per unit hours into 20 rupees rate, 60,000. And these are the overheads which we have taken the absorption rates. That is 280, 1.92, 1735, 505 into the corresponding production run for Y, and machine hours for Y, purchase order for Y, and order shipped for Y. If you do that calculation, that will come to 24,905, which is your option number B. I hope that clears that. Then next comes to what is the absorption rate as per traditional absorption costing. So traditional absorption costing is on labor hours. So we need the total labor hours. How much is the total labor hours we have found out? The total labor hours we have found out is 7150. Now we need the total overheads. How do I get the total overheads? You can take the total here. 49,000 plus 64,128 plus 52,050 plus 46,460, that is 2,11,638 is the total overheads, divided by the labor hours of 7150. So the 2,11,638 divided by 7150, that will come to 29.59 rupees per labor hour. That's approximately 29.6 rupees per labor hour. The next one says, what is the full cost per unit of Y under traditional absorption system? Full cost. So you have the material, 17,000 kgs per unit you require 4 kgs 2 rupees. Labor hours is 2550 20 rupees, and 29.6 is the absorption rate based on labor hour of 2550. So you multiply that, you will get 2,62,480 we want per unit. So divide that by the number of units, you will get 15.44. That is your option number D. I hope it clears. The last one, XYZ produces product P. Cost accountant of the company prepares a budget. What is the budget says? Expected sales of P is 1 lakh unit during the year and selling price is 50. So the product name is P. 1 lakh unit is the units which are expected to be sold. For each unit of P, you require 3 kgs of raw material Q and 4 kgs of raw material R. And they are saying given as a stock. Opening stock is given, closing stock is given of finished product, raw material Q and raw material R. What is said? The raw material Q costs rupees 2 per kg, R costs 3 per kg. It requires 10 minutes of direct labor hour to produce 1 unit of P, and labor cost is 50 rupees per hour. Variable manufacturing overheads are rupees 10 per unit. Fixed manufacturing cost is 3 lakh per year and admin fixed is 25,000 per year. What are we supposed to find? We are supposed to find the total purchase cost of raw material Q. Purchase cost, it is a total purchase cost. So first I need to find out the quantity purchased. They are not given the quantity purchased, but I can find out because I know the opening stock, I know the closing stock, I know the consumption. How much is the consumption? 1 lakh unit. For every unit you require 3 kgs. So 3 lakh kg is consumed. Add the closing stock. 15,000 is the closing stock. Subtract the opening stock and 12,000 is the closing stock. So you will get the purchase quantity. 3,03,000 is the quantity purchased. And the rate is rupees 2 per kg. So that will come to 6,06,000 rupees is the purchase cost. Let's move on to the next one. What is they are asking you? Budgeted variable cost of the production of 1 unit of P. Budgeted variable cost of production. Budgeted variable cost of production. So what should it include? It includes the material cost of Q. That is 3 kg into 2 rupees, 6 rupees. R 4 kg into 3 rupees, 12 rupees. Labor is 50 rupees per hour. But we are taking 10 minutes, so convert into hours, that comes to 8.33, and variable manufacturing overheads is 10 rupees, so the cost will come to 36.333 is the cost per unit. That is option number D. Then they are asking what is the budgeted net income. Net income is nothing but your net profit. So how do I get the net profit? I know the selling price is 50 rupees. I know the variable manufacturing overhead just now I found out is 36.333. So I'll get the contribution per unit 13.67 into how many units am I going to sell? 1 lakh. So 13.677 into 1 lakh. So 13,67,000 less the fixed overheads. 2 fixed overheads were there. One is manufacturing, other is selling and distribution. So 3,25,000, 3 lakh plus 25, total 3,25,000. If you subtract, 10,42,000 is the net profit. 10,42,000 is net profit. So the closest is 10,41,667. Since we have rounded off 36.333 till that point, you can take it as 10,41,667. And the next one, total number of units to be produced of P. We know sales is 1 lakh. We know unit sold is 1 lakh. So unit sold is 1 lakh we know. We know the closing stock that will add. We know the opening stock will subtract. So we'll get the number of units produced which comes to 1,03,000. And finally the total quantity of R to be purchased. Same repetitive now. Purchase. So consumption of R is 1 lakh into 4 lakh kilos minus the closing stock plus the opening stock. So 4,06,000 is the quantity to be purchased of R. I hope it helps. We'll come out with more such videos which will help you deepening your concept, because once you do MCQ 30 out of 30 straight, your scores will shoot up like anything. Thank you. Bye bye.